This is CBS.
Next on News Sports 6, American Airlines avoiding bankruptcy. What does that mean for your summer vacation plans? Plus an extra perspective of the American Airlines deal. Don Carty is out, but how much will his golden parachute cost the troubled carrier? We're going to show you how much money he's likely to get.
And a News 4 Extra. It is a con game that's a click away. We've dug up the dirt on an email address spam scam worth millions. Find out how not to be taken.
You're watching News 4 St. Louis, where there's always something extra.
Good evening. After days of fighting back and forth, American Airlines flight attendants have agreed to huge pay cuts and layoffs.
That means American will not go bankrupt, at least now. John Mills has more on what this means to you. John.
Good evening, Larry. Your summer vacations are safe. American Airlines is not filing for bankruptcy, and we're told today's deal means Americans should be able to avoid bankruptcy for at least the next 3 to 4 months. In fact, the airline is counting on you to fly. Airlines are hoping the public starts flying again this spring and summer, so they will stop losing so much money and create stability in the industry. All former TWA flight attendants will lose their jobs. This afternoon in Dallas, the new CEO of American Airlines raised the issue of customer service.
Many will lose their jobs because of the productivity provisions in these contracts. During that transition period, I would ask them to serve our customers with grace and with dignity, and we will do our very best to get them back as quickly as we can.
Former TWA employees now working for American still have lawsuits pending against the airline, scheduled to go to court this month and next. So while there is a deal avoiding bankruptcy tonight, some are still fighting. Larry?
All right, thanks, John. There's another chapter to this story. I'm sure you know it cost some companies tens of millions of dollars to get rid of the CEO. The buyouts are often called golden parachutes. In this extra report, Craig Cheatham looks at what American Airlines' Don Carty might get.
The greatest airline anywhere.
Don Carty, treated like a conquering corporate hero when American bought TWA, is now the disgraced ex-CEO, less than 1 year later.
This is a very tough economy, and the travel industry has been hit particularly hard.
Carty, who begged rank-and-file union workers to swallow steep pay cuts to avoid bankruptcy, resigned after failing to disclose huge executive bonuses and a $41 million bankruptcy-proof pension plan for executives. Carty would have received a $1.6 million bonus, but AMR killed the plan. What is most stunning is that Carty didn't seem to think burying the information deep in complicated financial records would come back to haunt him. After all, 3 airlines, Delta, U.S. Airways, and UAL, infuriated their workers by passing similar plans. In fact, the U.S. Airways chief was credited with 24 years of extra service, while pilots got pension cuts. The details of Carty's exit package are unclear, but even though he made millions of dollars at American, he was also one of the lowest paid CEOs at a Fortune 500 company, making just over $800,000 last year. His stock, worth about $18 million 2 years ago, is now valued at less than $1 million. Carty's real wealth lies in the enormous benefits he received acting as a director for other corporations. He sits on the board at Sears and Dell Computer, holding more than $30 million worth of Dell stock alone. Experts believe American will eventually reveal the details of a multi-million-dollar severance package for Don Carty. But whatever he gets, it will likely be very modest compared to the headline-grabbing deals that have had some CEOs pocket tens of millions of dollars. Donna?
Craig, thank you. Here's the latest on the Missouri budget crisis now. Today, state senators rejecting increasing taxes on tobacco products, corporations, and wealthy residents. Those proposals were part of Governor Holden's plan to raise revenue. Senate Republicans have their own budget plan that includes taxes on pornography, illegal drugs, and winnings on Missouri gambling for out-of-state residents.
A Madison County judge is dealing another blow to Philip Morris. Judge Nicholas Bryan, or rather Byron, I should say, rejected motions to set aside or reduce the verdict against the tobacco giant. Last month, the jury ruled that Philip Morris must pay $10 billion. That was for deceiving smokers into thinking light cigarettes are less harmful than regular cigarettes.
Weather has been a problem all day across the bi-state. Let's get the latest conditions now from Kent in First Weather. Hi, Kent.
Hi, Don. It's been a trouble for a couple of days, hasn't it? With the rain and the dreary skies, not a great way to get your weekend started. And as we look out there right now on forewarned Doppler radar, what we see is that we still have some light rain in southeastern portions of the viewing area. However, this rain is tapering off. The low-pressure system itself now moving out of the boot heel. The individual showers are wrapping around the backside of the low, but the low is moving off to the east. Again, it's down over the boot heel, and it will be moving out of the area. Outside right now, we still have the cloudy skies, and in some cases, even a little bit of fog. At the airport right now, the temperature stands at 53 degrees. Northeast winds are still busy. They're gusting up to 21 miles per hour. Our relative humidity at 96%. The high today reached all the way up to, well, only 58 degrees and a low of 54. 4/10 of additional inches of additional rain fell, so that's over 1.25 inches in St. Louis. Some areas saw over 2 inches. Coming up, we'll tell you whether this weekend is going to clear out and warm up.
All right, Ken, now here's a look at some other headlines we're watching for you. Alton police searching for suspects and a motive in a double murder. Happened shortly after 2 this morning. This was in a parking lot at 4th and Bell in Alton. Police say 21-year-old Melvin Harris of Florissant and 19-year-old Clyde Bailey Jr. of St. Louis were shot several times. They were sitting in a car outside the Timeout Bar and Grill. 2 St. Louis high school students and their bus driver reportedly have minor neck and back injuries. Their bus was hit along Highway 70 this afternoon. We're told a transportation truck rear-ended the bus. Eastbound lanes at Market Street were shut down for a time. They've since reopened. No word on what caused that fatal wreck on Interstate 55 near Arnold. It killed a man from Waterloo, Iowa. It happened overnight near Arnold. Witnesses say the driver of the car did lose control, hit the median, then his car was rear-ended by a tractor-trailer rig.
Police say 2 men who jumped from a train trestle when their ATV got caught on the tracks will likely be fined for trespassing. Police say the suspects were driving their ATV on tracks in Arnold last night when they stopped to look at the lights below the highway. But when they noticed a train coming, they backed off the trestle and the ATV got stuck. The men jumped off and were not hurt, but the train ended up smashing that ATV, as you can see. The suspects were arrested and released, but have not yet been formally charged.
Students at a local college now have a new place to hang out, act out, or work out.
We will take you to the new Class Act on campus. First, up next, a News 4 Extra about becoming a millionaire through spam. And we are not talking canned ham here. We'll tell you about it.
Extra insight into making a tempting garden. A local expert sharing secrets to attracting more butterflies and birds to your yard.
I'm Doug Vaughn. Is this the player the Rams will pick in the first round of the draft tomorrow? And who exactly has the final say as to who the Rams will pick? We'll have that story coming up later in sports.
Entertainment. Now, Larry Connors, Donna Savarese, weather with meteorologist Kent Earhart, and sports with Doug Vaughn. News 4 at 6 continues.
St. Louis Drug Court has a new vacancy. Jane Geiler resigned yesterday from her position as the city's drug court commissioner. Geiler cites personal reasons for her resignation, but the Bar Association in St. Louis had sought Geiler's resignation after she was accused of being racially offensive to an African-American probation officer. Well, those emails that you get that look innocent enough but link you to a porn site are now under attack.
The Federal Trade Commission is taking a 23-year-old Baldwin man to court for spamming customers. The FTC claims he made $1 million with this scheme. How? Ray Preston takes a look in this News 4 Extra.
We asked Bruce Umbaugh at Webster University. In a suit against Brian Westby from Baldwin, the FTC moved to stop Westby from sending out thousands of emails with misleading subject lines.
He was paid by porn sites for driving traffic to the site by including links to the site or including some of their images that would register as hits on the site.
He was paid for the number of people that viewed the sites as a result of his email messages. Now, the suit says emails were sent out with subject lines such as, "You may want to reboot your computer. Please resend the email. Did you hear the news? What is wrong?" Or "New movie info." The feds are aggressively going after spammers. The FTC is getting 46,000 consumer complaint emails a day. Umbaugh says spammers are collecting addresses out of chat rooms, buying and trading them.
People who have email addresses on web pages or who have actively participated in discussion groups that are publicly available on the net. those email addresses get harvested.
He says clicking on that line, which supposedly lets you unsubscribe, is a bad idea. It either does nothing at all,
or in a lot of cases are addresses that they use to confirm that it was a good address they sent to. It's a way that they confirm that this is an email address that they can sell to other people and that it'll actually reach someone, and it'll reach someone who reads it and responds to it. That's a pretty good email address.
Well, the FTC says with these misleading subject lines on the email, children may be exposed to the porn, or people could open these at work in violation of company policies. Now, as for the money Westby made, the FTC says if it can show he made it through deceptive practices, the feds will go after it. Back to you.
All right, Ray Preston. I want to take a moment to remind you also you can use your internet, your computer, to find out. You get calls from folks that have unlisted numbers not available. Well, we'll show you how you can trace back to see who it is and learn about your neighbors around you. That's tonight at 10 on News 4.
Jamie Allman's special report should be great. All right, gardening is one of the most popular weekend hobbies, of course, when it's not a rainy weekend.
But it's not only about the flowers. Coming up next to News 4 Extra, some ideas on using the right flowers and trees to attract birds and butterflies. We'll have that detail for you.
First, here's Kent with what's ahead in weather.
Sure would be nice if we could end this rain and break open these skies, give you a sunny weekend. We'll have the answer in your 5-day forecast. That's coming up next.
The Oprah exclusive.
This is Jamie Allman. U.S. government spy satellites are closer to what the movies depict than you may think. An Allman Extra coming up on News 4 at 10 o'clock.
Big celebration at Harris-Stowe State College. This morning marked the official opening of the Emerson Physical Education and Visual Performing Arts Center. It will be home to the Harris-Stowe sports teams. The facility houses a weight and fitness room, locker rooms, athletic offices, conference room. The state-of-the-art facility located directly across from the main building in Midtown St. Louis.
Birds and butterflies can add such a nice touch to your springtime garden, but just how do you attract them and keep them from coming back? We have some extra insight onto your garden and how to make your garden a sanctuary for birds and butterflies alike. The sound of birds chirping is a sure sign that spring is in bloom. But if you want our fine feathered friends to stick around your yard or garden, it might be a good idea to know just what to plant.
For sure, crab apples would probably be first on the list because they probably are attractive to the widest range of birds. Berries and fruits are probably the main way that a lot of the ones that aren't attracted to seed dispensers are brought into the garden.
Tube-shaped flowers work very well for attracting hummingbirds. And dogwood trees offer a wide array of amenities for just about any bird.
You want to supply them with some food and some water and shelter. Those are probably the three main things so that they actually can stay for a length of time and not be uncomfortable and have a place to rest.
Other winged friends, butterflies, need color in their world. The more colorful the flowers, the more likely they are to stick around. But make no mistake, they need food and water, too.
You need both nectar plants for the full-grown butterflies, and you need food plants for the caterpillar. And without the caterpillar, you can't have the butterfly. Milkweed is good for monarchs. In your own yard, you would want to grow butterfly weed, butterfly bush.
Butterflies live only 2 to 4 weeks, and they don't stray far from home.
The closer they are, the more chance they have of mating, laying eggs, and starting the cycle all over again.
Interesting, and in terms of attracting birds, you might want to think about planting asters. They bloom in the fall right about the same time that birds are migrating, so it makes a nice place for them to stop and grab a bite to eat. And you can get more information on our website on all of this, and the address KMOV.com. Larry.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you. And, of course, ducks are going to be loving this kind of weather.
I guess so.
You can attract a lot of them right now.
Yeah, I think we're probably doing a good job of that. The geese haven't moved anywhere.
No,
they like this kind of weather, too. It has been a stormy pattern that we've been in. As you look at the satellite picture, we can track the low-pressure system. Of course, everybody wants to know, are we going to get out of the clouds? And as we put this into motion, I think it will display very nicely for you what is happening weather-wise. Look to the north. moving out of Iowa and northern Illinois, we see the back edge of the cloudiness. The low-pressure center itself right here, moving around Paducah, Kentucky, and off to the east. So if all of this continues to move to the east, it makes sense that the back edge of the cloudiness will move through. Well, the computers will confirm that for us. Here's the low. The computer doesn't pick up those real low gray clouds very well, but you can still see the cloud cover back here. But as this thing moves off to the east, look at this. We see all this clearing, sunny skies tomorrow, and that's tomorrow morning. Now, we will have a little northeasterly wind. That'll bring in dry and slightly cool air, so it won't warm up a whole bunch, but it will be very pleasant. But as this high scoots off to the east on Sunday, we're into Saturday night now, moving up on Sunday morning, then we get more of a southerly component to the wind, and that's going to warm things up quite a bit. So I think we have plenty of sun this weekend. It should be very, very nice. And we started off with cool temperatures around the metropolitan region right now. We're already in the mid-50s across the board, so you know it's going to get pretty chilly tonight. We'll have the forecast lows for you coming up in a moment. Now, the second headline, I think, in weather is the rain that fell. Now, everybody saw rain. This is Doppler rainfall estimates of how much rain fell, and you can see the heaviest along and south of I-44 here, around St. Clair and south to Sullivan, and Lone Dell picked up quite a bit of heavy rain down into Potosi, and also from around Bond County southward, you see Salem with some pretty heavy rain, the darker stuff, and even this red. Now, a lot of this is hail contamination. It doesn't like it when it sees hail, and as a result, it overestimates how much rain fell, but certainly there has been quite a bit of it. All right, lows under these clearing skies tonight are going to drop into the 40s, and daytime highs tomorrow under sunny skies, but with the northeasterly winds, will only warm into the upper 60s. When we get that southerly wind, that'll really warm things up. Rain ending this evening, temperatures in the 50s and northeast to easterly winds at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Looks like about 50 by bedtime, maybe a few sprinkles in southeastern portions of the viewing area, but I think most of us are seeing the end of the rain. Morning low in the mid-40s, that's pretty chilly, but all kinds of sunshine tomorrow and mild temperatures. By tomorrow afternoon, we should be up to about 68 degrees. Nothing wrong with that. Sunday looking even better at 74, although it will cloud up a little bit late in the afternoon on Sunday, leading to a slight chance for thunderstorms on Monday. In fact, there's a front moving into northern Missouri that looks like it's going to stall for a few days, and central Illinois, and as a result keep us in a little bit of a rain chance, but nothing too bad. This is not a big storm that's rolling through, just a slight chance of a shower each day. But the good news is the sunshine and the mild temperatures over the weekend, and the dry weather.
Yeah, it'll be nice after these past couple days. They're dank. All right, thanks a lot. Sports coming up next.
Here's Doug.
When it's the Rams' turn to make their pick tomorrow in the NFL draft, who has the final say? Who is it really who deserves the credit or the blame? And the Cardinals and Diamondbacks have been hit hard by Major League Baseball. Fines and suspensions handed out today. We've got that next in sports.
Can't tell them.
So there's still debate as to who's making the final choice or what?
Well, there's a lot of people in that war room deciding. Yep. There's a lot of them that have a say.
Blame.
That's right. The future of the Rams definitely at stake this weekend. They'll be picking 11 players in the NFL draft that begins tomorrow morning and runs through Sunday. The Rams own the 12th pick in the first round. Most of the draft experts are predicting the Rams will choose linebacker Boss Bailey of Georgia with that first pick. He's rated the top linebacker in the draft, very fast, but he's an outside linebacker, and the Rams' bigger need really is somebody who can play in the middle. If they go for the best middle linebacker, they probably would take E.J. Henderson out of Maryland. He is bigger than Bailey, stronger, but not nearly as fast. So who will make that final decision in the Rams draft room tomorrow? I put that question to both Mike Martz and General Manager Charlie Armey.
Mike Martz picks the final decision. That's the only way there ever should be. In any draft, anywhere, this thing all evolves around your head football coach. If you don't get him the players he has to feel he needs and his staff needs, you can't get where you want to go.
If Charlie does not feel good, but we don't draft him. We don't draft him. It's like, for me to tell Charlie who to pick or about personnel, it's like what play I should run on offense. It just doesn't make sense.
The two team presidents, Jay Zigman and John Shaw, both have veto power over Martz and Armey, so if you don't like who the Rams pick, you can pretty much blame everybody. Been a lot of blame to go around for the Cardinals' recent problems. The bats have gone silent. The bullpen is in a shambles. Guards send Brett Tomko to the mound tonight in Florida to try to snap the 5-game losing streak. And it doesn't help matters that Tino Martinez and Jeff Fassero have been suspended following that fight on Sunday. Arizona pitcher Miguel Batista hit with a 10-game suspension for starting it and for throwing the ball at Tino as the fight began. Tino's been suspended 4 games. Fassero got a 3-game suspension for plunking Luis Gonzalez in the 9th inning. Tony La Russa was suspended a game by the league for yelling at Batista. Batista, Martinez, and Fassero all plan to appeal their suspensions, so they will continue playing until they get a hearing from the league, probably next week. Last night in the hockey playoffs, Anaheim and Dallas played the 4th longest game in NHL history. They went to 5 sudden death overtime periods, played almost 6 hours before they had a winner. In the 3rd OT, it looked like the Ducks had won it when Steve Ruchin scored from right in front of Stars goalie Marty Turco. But while the Ducks were celebrating, the refs were checking the replay, and they determined that that goal should not count. They said the goal post on the right side was coming off its mooring just before the puck went into the net. So the Dallas fans return to their seats for another 2 overtime periods. Back they come. Early in the 5th OT, Anaheim scored again. This time Peter Sikora, and this time it counted, and the Ducks win it 4-3 to take the first game in that series. I'm sure after about 6 hours, all the players, even the losing players, ready to go home. They love hockey, but at some point you just rather go home. You just rather take the loss and go home.
But go home as a winner.
Well, that would be preferable.
That's
but
better.
Going home would be better than
Get out of there. All right, that'll do it for us. Thanks for being with us here on News 4 at 6.
I'm sorry. Join us again at 10. This is News 4 St. Louis.